In the quiet whispering of the moonlit woods, something was changing, something none of the animals had seen before. The rustling leaves no longer sounded playful, the wind no longer hummed its soft lullaby, and every pair of watchful eyes sensed it. The harmony of the forest was in danger, and if anyone was going to save it, it would have to begin with an unlikely gathering: an owl, a badger, a fox, and a small but determined rabbit who would lead them toward hope. From the very first moment, every viewer is pulled into the tension of what lies ahead, wondering not only what has gone wrong, but whether these woodland creatures can set things right before it is too late. Peter Rabbit had never seen the forest so quiet. It was as if the trees themselves had forgotten how to breathe. He hopped along a mossy path, ears alert, sensing the discomfort of nature around him. When a deep hoot echoed from above, Peter paused and looked up. Old Tawny the Owl sat on her usual branch, but her eyes were tired, worried even. She flew down gracefully, feathers gliding without a sound. She told Peter that the animals of the forest were no longer working together. Everyone was scared, thinking only of themselves, and the unity that once kept the woods strong was crumbling. Peter felt his heart twist inside his chest. He loved this forest, every burrow, every den, every tree. To see fear replace friendship was something he could not accept. Tawny told him that the only way to restore peace was to bring the woodland leaders together, including one no one trusted: Felix the Fox. Peter swallowed nervously, but he knew what he had to do. If the forest was to survive, they needed everyone. Night fell deeper as Peter made his way to the thicket where Badger Bramble lived. Bramble listened patiently as Peter explained everything he had seen and heard. Bramble was sturdy, dependable, and always one to defend what mattered. He agreed to help, but reminded Peter that bringing Felix the Fox into the situation would not be easy. Felix was clever and strong, but his sharp nature made others suspicious of him. Still, Bramble knew that unity meant everyone counted. Together they walked through the moonlit woods, searching for the fox. When they finally found Felix sitting by an old fallen log, his eyes gleamed with uncertainty. Peter took a deep breath and spoke from the heart. He told Felix that the forest needed him, that everyone needed him. For the first time, someone wasn't accusing him, doubting him, or keeping their distance. They were asking for his help. Felix hesitated, fighting the weight of his own reputation, but deep inside, he cared for the forest too. At last, with a slow nod, he agreed to join them. They returned to Tawny, who was perched above an old oak that had once been the meeting place of the Forest Council. The owl looked upon the three of them, rabbit, badger, fox, and felt a spark of hope. If these three could stand side by side, then perhaps the forest was not lost after all. They discussed their next steps. The forest animals needed to see that leadership was possible without fear or suspicion. They would hold a gathering and speak to everyone, reminding them that unity was the strength that had kept the woods flourishing for generations. Peter felt the pressure pressing on his chest, but he also felt something else: courage. He didn't have claws like Bramble, wings like Tawny, or strength like Felix, but he had something just as powerful: heart. The night of the gathering arrived. Animals tiptoed in from burrows, nests, dens, and underbrush. Whispers floated in the air, thick with doubt and worry. Peter stepped forward first, his small paws trembling, but his voice firm. He spoke of memories, of playing in the meadows, of winter nights spent helping one another find food, of the laughter that once filled the forest like birdsong. He told them that if they forgot to care for one another, the forest itself would forget how to care for them. Next, Tawny spoke with wisdom, Bramble with strength, and Felix, unexpectedly, with sincerity. He admitted that he had not always been easy to trust, but today, he wanted to stand with them. The forest fell silent. Then, one by one, paws clapped, wings fluttered, and tails swished. The animals had remembered what mattered. From that night forward, the winds began to hum again. The trees regained their voice, whispering softly through the branches. The animals took care of each other once more, sharing food, space, and responsibility. Peter looked around with pride, his chest warm with accomplishment. The forest had been saved not by one hero, but by many, each different, each flawed, each important. There would be challenges ahead, but now the animals face them together. And so, viewers are left with a lasting truth that strength comes not from size or power, but from unity, courage, and the belief that everyone has something valuable to offer. The woods live on, filled with light and harmony, because one little rabbit dared to believe that even the biggest problems can be solved when hearts stand together.